The campaigns are different. They're starting to look a little bit more like traditional campaigns, at least on the Republican side, as President Trump ventures out into more traditional large group kind of rallies. But for the most part, it's been a strange kind of Zoom uh, oriented campaign. The debates have even been a little different. Related to that, COVID has just dominated in a lot of ways the issues of the campaign. The president has tried to push it away often, but it keeps coming back. And so COVID has both dominated the news and dominated the issues, but it has also changed the nature of campaigning in this strange uh, COVID environment we're living in. And we're starting to see that it's probably changing the way people go out to vote.
And I guess I would add this, one thing that traditional presidential campaigns are tests of endurance and stamina. Candidates have to go out there day after day for very long days and be able to demonstrate their physical health and energy, and demonstrate their ability to keep their wits about them when they're running at the edge of exhaustion. And this time, the campaign has been much more leisurely, in a sense. Whether it's Joe Biden in his basement or Donald Trump at an occasional rally, this hasn't been the sort of stress test. And the reason I mention that is that, we're talking about two candidates this year, either one of whom, come January 20th, will be the oldest person ever inaugurated as president in history. Trump, 74, Biden, 78, and it's a 4-year term. This is a year when I think there might have been unusual interest in seeing how well do these folks hold up under the physical and mental strain of a campaign. We haven't gotten that. Now that's not at all the main effect that COVID is having on politics this year. Crises are opportunities. Trump, during his first 3 years, faced no crisis at all. The real test came with COVID. And if President Trump had gotten on top of this situation and treated it with the seriousness that it deserved, I think we'd be looking at a landslide reelection this year, or at least a solid reelection this year. He was given an opportunity to demonstrate the capacity to lead the country in a time of crisis. I just can't say that he has done that. And I think if he loses the election, it will be because he was given an opportunity and he blew it. And people can look around them and see that when Donald Trump says, well, we've turned the corner, it's behind us, there's no way to convince them that they're not seeing what they're actually seeing in terms of how this health crisis is affecting the lives and livelihoods of people in every family and every neighborhood.
I think it gave him an opportunity to sort of pivot on the character issue as well. I mean, his favorability numbers were not strong coming out of the election, and were kind of plateaued at about low 40s. Again, as Mike says, he had an opportunity to pivot and to be the more FDR kind of caring leader of the country through a crisis situation. For better or for worse, he seems to have chosen to gravitate back to some of his more combative instincts, fighting masks, fighting distancing, poo-pooing the seriousness of the disease. And as a result, I think he's been bleeding votes in the suburbs, which he didn't necessarily have to bleed.